Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to emphasize something you were talking with Senator Murkowski about, which is partnerships. We have a partnership between the University of Maine and Oak Ridge National Laboratory on additive manufacturing and cellulosic materials used in additive manufacturing. It's very productive, and I commend it to you. I hope that that's the kind of relationship that we can continue to maintain and support and expand.
So thank you, Senator King, and thanks for meeting with me as well before the hearing. I very much appreciated our conversation, and I think there's all sorts of partnerships that exist, offshore wind among the additive manufacturing, other areas, and very much look forward to strengthening those partnerships.
Great. I'll look forward to welcoming you to Maine. You're going to have quite a tour between North Dakota, Montana, New Mexico, and I hope you can add Maine to the list.
Well, Maine is a beautiful state, Acadia National Park, and all else in Maine. So happy and eager to get up there.
Looking forward to it. Methane, I believe, is the low-hanging fruit of climate change. And to the extent the department can sponsor through ARPA-E or other programs research in terms of methane control and capture, I think that's an enormously important part of the work that you can do. As you know, methane's 80 times more potent a greenhouse gas than CO2. It resides in the atmosphere for a shorter period, so if we can cut the amount of methane that's going into the atmosphere, that's a big deal. And I understand that there is a project with Bridger Photonics in Bozeman, Montana, on a high-tech ways to detect these leaks. That's the kind of research and development that I think we need, and I hope methane can be a focus of your attention in terms of, because it's intimately related to energy production and energy generation.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. Methane not only needs to be a focus of the Department of Energy, and if I'm confirmed, my focus, but frankly, all of us. It's incredibly frustrating that we have so much methane emissions in the U.S. And other countries around the world when we have cost-effective solutions and actually make money in many circumstances.
Yeah, this is a place where we don't have to spend a fortune. It's a relatively low cost in terms of the benefit. Let me move on. After methane, I think equally important in the long-term energy picture is storage. I don't think there's anything more important that you can do along with research on methane is research on storage. We need 100-hour grid-scale storage. Once that occurs, then the potential of renewables will be truly unlocked. I see that as I say, one of the most important things you could do. Talk to me about storage and where it will be on your priority list.
So storage needs to be at the very top of the priority list. It's an incredibly important technology. One of the things I'd be particularly excited about if I'm confirmed at the DOE, we've talked about these earth shots to really try to have ARPA-E, the labs, the applied offices all working together seamlessly across the Department of Energy enterprise, and a long duration storage earth shot I think makes a ton of sense to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can, especially with that long duration storage as you suggest.
Well, one other aspect of that, and this ties back to your current or your just prior occupation, I've always thought this would be something that we should be pursuing internationally. Why should everybody be trying to invent the same thing? And if there can be international collaboration on development of a technology that will help the entire world, it seems to me that ought to also be a focus of the Department of Energy, is fostering that kind of collaboration on these joint problems.
Well, I completely agree. The U.S. is the innovation powerhouse, has been, needs to be. But take storage. If we had storage solutions, long duration, cost-effective storage solutions, you look at a country like India. India, over the next couple decades, will build an additional grid the size of Europe on their already sizable grid. If they had storage solutions that allowed them to go even further in solar, even further in wind, then they wouldn't have to build so many other kinds of sources that are more carbon intensive. So storage is a key part, not only in the U.S., but internationally.
And of course, a molecule of CO2 doesn't care what country it comes from as far as its impact on the climate.
Well, that's right. I think that's why we have to, the U.S. should lead here. The U.S. should lead ambitiously.
One final question for the record, because I'm out of time, and that is, in terms of grid modernization, is the problem wires and poles, or is it software and technology? In other words, is the grid inadequate physically, or is it a question of management and the technology of integrating new power sources, for example?
So I think it's both, and we need to have the planning to take into account the technology piece, but also the management piece as well, and to be really holistic, forward-thinking, building the grids of the future. We've got transmission issues we need to work on in parts of the country. We've got distributed energy resources coming onto the grid. We need to have the grid that can appropriately deal with those.
But the grid of the future doesn't necessarily involve lots of new wires and poles. It may involve more the technology of integrating resources.
Well, absolutely right. We need to be smart. We need to be smart and cost-effective about this, and the solutions of the past don't need to be the solutions of the future.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.